Welcome to the Wildlife Wire. I'm Mark Searles,
And I'm Samantha Miller.
and this is your source for wildlife news and the people that make it. On this week's episode, we have indigo snakes, great white sharks, black jaguars, and alligators in love. So today's a little different. This is a news day. No interview today, but we will get back to that soon. So we were down in Durango, Colorado last week for the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission meetings,
Yes, we were.
which were exciting and engaging. We had lots of folks make the long trek down there, some folks that were local as well. But on my way down, I got to see some coyotes eating an elk carcass that was just off the road. So I imagine that was an elk that was hit by a car and they were taking full advantage of it. And then on my way back, I stopped at the Wolfwood Refuge, which rescues wolves, wolf dogs, dogs, and coyotes as well. And so I got lots of kisses and I got to touch my first live coyote. My only other experiences touching coyotes was unfortunately at the Colorado Fur Auction.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so this was much better.
That I bet it's better to have a fully intact and breathing coyote. And I'm so sad I did not get to go, but I plan on going back soon. I was in Durango with you, and I thought that was such an excellent turnout of advocates there. And it's exciting to see folks who really care about wild animals showing up. A lot of times those spaces aren't made for people that don't hunt or fish, and having a bunch of folks there that do neither but just care about the fate of Colorado's animals was really inspiring and exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that I whether it's agencies that are dealing with wildlife or maybe uh health or anything else. If it's something that you're passionate about and it's a government agency, then engage. It's your agency too.
Yeah,
And it's great to empower folks and see people being empowered to say, hey, I want a voice in this issue, and I have every right to be here.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we've had enough of our share of local wildlife, and it seems like we both took a venture to wildlife away from our native Colorado this week and our news stories. So I'm excited to dive into those if you're ready.
I am ready.
And the
So
dive was a pun. It was an anticipatory pun. I hope you
I,
caught that.
I like that
Okay.
because we're diving into the ocean, and who lives in the ocean? None other than the great white shark. So this one says, can any animals kill a great white shark?
Did you want me to answer? Because I know the
Sure, let's
answer.
go for it.
Okay. Orcas.
Yeah. Do you know why orcas kill great white sharks? Do you think they eat the entire shark? Do you think they are fans of the terrible shark fin soup? What do you think they're doing?
They just, okay, I nerd out on sharks only because my child is obsessed with orcas and with great white sharks. So I believe they just take like the fatty liver, right? They do like an excise cut and they just take the liver and then they leave the rest of the shark behind.
Yeah, because we all know that great whites are big boozers and have have fatty livers.
Right? Is that it? They take a body part. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is the liver,
Okay.
and it has been documented that it's where orcas will hunt in packs. They or pods. They It also has been documented that a single orca has done that, and yeah, they do this precision cut and and only eat the liver, which is something that when humans do that, like I brought up shark fin soup, uh, that becomes excessive and wasteful. But obviously, orcas aren't out there mass killing great whites. And so, that animal is also, I'm sure, getting eaten by a variety of other sea creatures as it dies. There's also another shark that eats a bit of great whites without killing them. Do you
Oh,
know about
I
this?
did this one I did not know. The orca trivia I have down, but I don't
Yeah,
know about this other shark.
the cookie cutter shark,
That sounds very creepy.
right? It measures about a half a meter long, and it will it eats like a cookie cutter, like just like presses in, right? It's a circular plug of flesh that it'll take out, so that the shark doesn't die, but they just kind of get their little nibble.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
then they depart. So they're just like, I'll take a quick snack here and then I'm done.
yeah. Sharks, it's great whites. Like, I mean, come on, guy. You- whatever. But so the sad story in this is they do bring up the excessive amounts of sharks that humans kill every year. And that number a couple of years ago has eclipsed 100 million sharks a year are killed
Wow.
through commercial fishing.
Wow. Yeah, I just don't get it. And so is that shark fin soup or is it like are there trophy hunters of the fishing world that are just going for sharks or what's the cause behind this?
Yeah, it's a variety. So I don't think the trophy hunting side or trophy fishing side of it uh, has a huge impact on it, but it's obviously the shark fin soup people and then bycatch as well.
Yeah, that's really sad. Well, thanks for bringing us up, bringing us down, and testing my orca trivia and telling me about a terrifying shark and some terrifying humans that are making poor choices.
You're terrified of a cookie cutter shark?
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. Like they're just gonna come up and take a bite out of you. Like, no thanks, and then let you
Yeah,
recover and come back and take another bite later. Like,
but what if you get like a cool, top hat scar or something? Well, that would be.
no, I don't want it. I don't want it. You know what else I don't want?
Tell me.
Alligators knocking at my door.
Ooh, I didn't read this, but I did see it. Tell me
Yeah,
more about this.
come and knock on my door. Uh,
That's got to be really difficult for. And do they bend their heads back and thrust up their little front leg to do
it's just
a quick knot? How does this work?
a little tiny like I think they got a tail they knock with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just
that tail's pretty powerful there for alligators. And what's really going on here is that it is alligator mating season right now. And so you'll see alligators do all sorts of different behaviors during mating season. And we've talked about this with other species like coyotes, where you do see them more active. You'll see alligators going into communities more often looking for mates. And you'll see them being a little more aggressive too. So, uh, they haven't injured anyone by this door knocking behavior, but what they're really doing is looking for a nice spouse, mate, girlfriend. And they are also trying to expand their territory so they can keep that spouse, mate, girlfriend, um, you know, in that area and safe. So they are a little more territorial right now. They do have the females are also protective of their clutches of eggs when the eggs are laid and they are knocking on doors. And I feel like it's, maybe they're looking for love and they've knocked on the wrong door. And I hope they will continue to look for love, but more back into their habitats and out of local neighborhoods.
yeah. What an awkward conversation when you open that door and it's like, is Allie the alligator here? No, she's not. Wrong door. I'm so sorry.
So strange. I mean, they are very polite like that, though. They do ask
Yeah.
very nicely, like, "Is Allie home? Can she come on a date today?" But no, we are going to do better by alligators. And some tips are again, dawn and dusk is when species are most active. Um, State fish and wildlife officials are advising, don't swim in alligator lakes during those
Hmm.
times.
I try
Common
not to do
sense.
that in general.
Me too. But I thought that was really interesting. It's a fun video, so I'll get the link out there.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever seen the videos when they're doing that mating call and the water dances on their backs as their backs vibrate.
No, I have not seen the water dancing on their back. I know their mating call is like very cute though, isn't it? It's like
Well,
a
there's
chirp.
one where they kind of bend their head back and then they have this guttural like and it's just they're just under the water. And so
Ooh.
when they're making the sound, their back, their whole body is vibrating. And so the water just goes
Ooh.
and folks that weren't privy to that, I was
Yeah,
finger
you're
dancing.
yes, yes, you yes, you were. Yes, you were. All right, Mark, what else do you want to tell us today?
Well, you know, so Florida has alligators, and my species is also in Florida. This headline caught me off guard. I read it as like a Jumanji kind of situation. So it
Ooh.
says 42 apex predators that feast on venomous snakes released in Florida. And I was thinking it was 42 different species. I was like,
We're just gonna let them all go and
just like
see who
running
kills the
out.
most venomous snakes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, 42. There's not 42 apex predator species in Florida. I don't,
Yeah, I mean it's Florida though, so who knows?
but they were talking about one species and
Okay.
42 individuals from that species were being
Okay.
released. And it is one of my favorite snakes. And I've touched one when I was a kid.
Okay.
So it's the largest snake in the US. Its
Okay.
body can be iridescent. It's extremely chill. No guesses so far.
Is it named
There's a,
partially after the color it is?
there's a group from the 90s that has its the name in it, and it is a
And
color. It is the Eastern indigo snake.
there we go. The
Yeah.
color.
Yeah. So they are not venomous,
Okay.
but they do eat venomous snakes, and they can grow up to 9 feet long, and they cohabitate with gopher tortoises, because I think that the tortoise is like, hey, great, keep the eastern diamondbacks out of here.
Yeah.
You can live here. You pay your rent by being my protector, and so yeah, they've uh, there haven't been a lot in the wild, and they have been re-releasing these snakes. So this year, 42 were released. It beat the last reintroduction of 41,
Wow.
and so their goal is to just make these ecosystems more complete. And what a cool, these are really ambassador snakes for folks uh, that are maybe a little weary of snakes, and it's because they're so big but they're so calm.
Yeah.
And so it's like a good snake for someone to learn to appreciate them. But it's great to see, this rewilding effort and trying to create these more complete ecosystems in these eastern pine forest, which have a variety of species that need our help.
Yeah.
And so, this is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So what a cool project, I guess. We'll see how it turns out for those snakes. You want to know what else is cool?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because
Yes.
I have a good story, but we also have a conservation lesson buried in here. So, I mean,
Ooh, a little nugget.
it's a little nugget of conservation for us to think about. But a trail cam managed by the Mami Rawa, let's hope I did not butcher that. If I did, I'm sorry. Institute captured a stunning portrait of a black jaguar. And it's so cool when trail cams get these up close, amazing pictures. And this jaguar is just stunning. And you can still see the spots. And it's just a really, really, it's a cool cat,
One cool
right?
cat.
Very, very
Uh,
cool cat.
Real quick on the spots. So
Uh-huh.
is the jaguar pretty black and then the spots are darker black, or are the spots lighter?
Yeah, the jaguar itself is pretty black, almost like a dark brown, and then the spots are blacker than the rest of the body. So, and the light is hitting the cat in just the right way where you see those spots in this photo. So it's really, really cool.
If I continue asking questions about
The
black
picture of the
jaguars, are you going to
jaguar?
be able to answer them?
I don't know, maybe.
How do one, so I know when an animal is white, it's melanistic, I
Hmm.
believe is the term. So do we know what the term is going the other direction? And is this is a genetic anomaly, imagine?
Yes. So melanistic is still the term,
Okay.
whether it goes white or
Oh,
black.
well, good.
So now you know both sides of the area. It is a genetic anomaly. I don't have the specific percentage of jaguars that have this, but this is the first one captured in a 15-year study. So I'm guessing it's pretty rare. And right now, the study covered 22 different protected areas that are home to more than 6,000 individual jaguars. So
Wow.
I'm
Where
sure
was that?
in the Amazon jungle, in the Amazon basin, and they extend over. So the 22 areas were over just a tiny spot of the Amazon basin. So 2.5% of the Amazon basin, and it's home to more jaguars than many countries. So it really shows how important the Amazon biome is and how important biodiversity is in the Amazon when we look at this charismatic species. So again, I totally nerd out about this stuff and I'll keep going. Um, but right now, 45% of jaguars all live in protected areas, which is really cool. I think we've seen South America do some excellent work around conservation and protecting different areas. We've seen the same in Mexico. And we do a decent job in protecting land spaces here in the United States too. So these animals are doing well in this area, but they are still subject to deforestation. If we look at 45% of them living in protected areas, we know that 55% do not live in protected areas. And there
That's
is
good math.
increasing. I know you're welcome for me being able to figure that one out quickly. I couldn't give you your
Yes.
Jaguar percentage, but I can subtract things from 100 really nicely in my head. I digress. There is a lot of deforestation in the
Yeah.
Amazon still, and that's really bad for climate change. We really count on that biome to insulate the Earth's atmosphere too. And yeah, I hope that we can do more work for conservation down there while understanding that a lot of the communities that do engage in logging are, again, impoverished indigenous communities that are now benefiting from the same kind of systems that we purchase from in our supply chains. And so it's definitely a much more complex issue than just, hey, we need to have more conservation. I think we need to have human solutions too. Um, but the jaguar is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's not just logging, but it's also, the cattle industry down there. And, so it's like, well, one way you can help mitigate those risks of deforestation is by eating less red meat. And
Yeah.
then, this is a whole long philosophical talk about, well, if one of Earth's most important areas is in predominantly in one country, you know, how do we manage that? And
Tariffs, Mark,
tariffs,
tariffs.
yes. Ah, so simple.
Gosh, where's your head at?
Yeah.
I already
We
had the answer.
it all comes back to tariffs, and I think that's a good I think that's a good place to end today. And we will be back with our regular scheduled programming next week with a really great guest. So we appreciate you turning in Turning
Turning
in?
in? Are you
Tune in.
turning in for your birthday
I'm
now? Is
turning
that what
in. We're calling it a day.
we're calling it?
Tuning
We're
in
done.
this week, and we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
This has been an episode of the Wildlife Wire with me, Mark Searles, and my co-host, Samantha Miller. Thank you for listening.